from the Late Show in midweek. It's an early rise for the Reds today. After the win against Spurs, it's Selhurst Park this lunchtime with the aim of moving 6 points clear in the table. It's Crystal Palace versus Liverpool in the Premier League. We are on air from 11:30 for Matchday Live on LFC TV and LFC TV Go. Good morning, welcome along to our Matchday Live preview show in association with Standard Chartered. Gary Gillespie and Stephen Warnock are alongside me. We should start, gentlemen, with the win in midweek. How big a win was that, Gary, given that the tightness of the table, the opposition and everything else that's been in front of Liverpool of late?
Yeah, I think going into the game, two teams obviously tied at the top of the table. It was always going to be a massive game. You know what, I don't think the two managers would have been upset with taking a point. But it was just fortunate for us that we came out on top. I think Jose Mourinho made a big point of saying that they were the better team throughout the course of the 90 minutes, which I didn't think was true. I think where he was true is that they did have the better opportunities in the game, and had they capitalised on that, who knows what might have happened. But you know, that's nothing to do with Liverpool. I thought Liverpool's performance was a good one. And it was a fantastic goal at the end, and that adds just to the excitement of it. And the significance of it, obviously, was the fact that we went to top of the table, 3 points clear. And it just gives you that little bit of breathing space. And again, if you add this into the equation this afternoon, another 3 points down at Selhurst Park would be massive to have a 6-point lead. I know teams are obviously got to play, but going into the after Christmas, top of the table at Christmas, I think psychologically it means quite a big thing.
The timing of the goal was obviously crucial, but the way it was taken was just so eye-catching, Steve. Such a brilliant finish by Bobby Firmino.
Yeah, I mean, the quality of delivery late on in a game, you always look at... I mean, you could probably pick in games today where last minute of the game, the quality, you're thinking, just put a good ball in, and they hit the front man every single time. The quality from Andrew Robertson at the corner is excellent. And then to get away from his marker, go and win that header, it's crucial to make good connection. But great scenes after it, obviously, with the celebration in front of the Kop. But it's an unbelievable header.
Yeah, a thumping header by Bobby Firmino. There's a great angle of it there. Look at that. That's technology for you.
I think it just proves that you don't need to be 6'4" to win headers in the box. If your movement is good, the timing of the run is good, the delivery is spot on, the chances are that you're going to score goals. And Liverpool, over the last couple of seasons, set piece-wise, have been very, very good.
Yeah, just to underline that point, let's have a look at the headers scored by Liverpool so far this season. Sitting top of the pile at the moment, Bobby Firmino, the latest to get his head to the ball and put it in the back of that. Look at that, at top of the pile so far with goals scored from headers. And that's a trend that's developed over the course of the last, 18 months, 2 years. It's something that they've worked on. How important is it to eke out those little improvements in different areas of the field, Stephen?
The big thing for me is, and I'm sure Gary will agree with me, is set pieces are the bit that players switch off on the training pitch because they think, I can't be bothered with this. It's the most boring part. You want to play five-a-sides, you want to have a bit of fun in training, and when it comes to the set pieces, it's almost like 20-30 minutes of walking round and getting pulled into positions, and this will happen at the weekend. And players often who aren't involved will switch off. The lads who are playing will be very into it. But I think what Liverpool have realised is them marginal gains, and that's what you've got to believe in. You've got to understand that these are the differences that can win you a tight game like this. And once you start getting the players believing that and understanding that, then you've got a chance of creating opportunities. Because then when you're on the pitch, all of a sudden you go, this is our opportunity to score. We know we've got fantastic delivery in the two lads. Now it's about timing the runs properly and making sure you get on the end of it.
Okay. Well, from one impressive win to another now. It came as quite a surprise to the manager when it was announced that he had been named as the Boss of the Year, the FIFA Best Boss of the Year, the Best Coach of the Year for a second season running. Here's Jurgen Klopp's thoughts on the accolade.
At the end of a very successful season, so it's now we're already in the middle of the next season, but it's for the last season, obviously, I think. And so that was an exceptional year for us. Nobody has to give us anything for that because we won the trophy already, the trophy we all wanted, and all the rest is really like an extra bonus. And how I said, we take that, have to say thank you, and I do that, and especially on behalf of all my coaching staff, because we We have a group, obviously. I mean, we won it again. Was the message pretty much, and yeah, that's clear. Without them, I would not be here. We wouldn't have the success we had and all that stuff. Without the boys, the players, would not have been possible. Arsene Wenger said it exactly right when he asked him what do you have to be a good coach, and he said it at the end. But I think it helps in the beginning as well. A world-class team helps, and I have that. Thank God. Work in a sensational club, get all the support you need. Have only great people around me, so we come here even in difficult times. And every day with a smile on our face. That all makes it easier and makes it possible. So I said a couple of times, I'm not the biggest believer in this kind of individual awards for coaches, but meanwhile I learned we just take it for all of us. We can obviously not change the world, so one face gets the prize, but it's for all of us, and I'm really proud of that.
Another accolade for Jurgen Klopp then, beat off Marcelo Bielsa, Hansi Flick to get the gong for a second season in a row. Gary, is that down to, I guess, well, one, the achievement of winning the title, I guess, given the history that surrounded it, but also perhaps for consistency of performance from his team?
Yeah, I think when you look at the points gained through the course, not just last season, but the season before that as well, I think the amount of games that we actually have won, I think, you know, consistency level is always key if you want to be at the top of the tables, and I think that's probably had something to do with it. But interesting to see it's about the collective, isn't it? It's about, even on pitch level, you know, individual players will always get accolades, but Liverpool for me have always been more than that. It's always been about the team. It's always been about the squad of players, and I think that Jurgen made reference to that as well. It's not just about him. He has a team behind him as well, which, you know, obviously that his profile goes up, and he is the manager or the top coach, so he will get the accolades. But you know, that's taking nothing away from the guys that are below him and work with him. And I think it was nice that he mentioned them.
There's so many different people play a role behind the scenes these days. In the best team, the FIFA best team, there were 4 Liverpool players in the mix as well, one of which I suppose is worth picking out, and the fact it's Thiago. He's there on merit of stuff he's not done here. And it kind of points to the fact that there's a lot to come when we actually do get him in the side regularly. Oh,
he's unbelievable. I mean, he dictated the tempo of every Champions League game that he played in last season. Dominated the final. He is... I mean, he's the all-round midfielder. He perhaps doesn't score enough goals, but he's not going to from the position he's in. But he was the reason he was brought in was for games like the other day against Fulham, when they sit deep and make it hard to play against. He was the reason, again, when Spurs come to Anfield, they sit deep, they make it difficult. He's the one that sees passes on the pitch that nobody else sees. The ball for Mane in the last couple of minutes of the derby. No one else saw that pass. Everyone saw the ball getting played to the right. They didn't see that reverse pass. So he's the player that potentially will unlock defences in the second half of the Premier League. He's going to be a great addition to have him back as well. Yeah,
it underlines the progress of the club as a whole, Gary, the fact that we've got all these guys in the best 11. The best 11. That's where we are at the moment. We've made huge leaps and bounds in the space of, 5 years?
Absolutely. I think, you know, Alisson, Virgil van Dijk, I think probably are stick-ons to get in the team. I mean, young Trent Alexander-Arnold, 3 years ago, he's playing in at Melwood, not Melwood,
Kirby.
At Kirby, in the academy teams. For his rise has been absolutely phenomenal, to be quite honest with you, to get in with the likes of these guys, Messi and all these guys, Lewandowski. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I take my hat off to him. And I mean, Virgil van Dijk is for me, the best centre-back in world football at this moment in time. And Alisson is probably the best goalkeeper in world football. So I think they were a shoe-in to get picked. But young Trent, you know, you just got to doff your cap to him and say really well done.
OK, well, now to one player that dreams of one day having his name on that FIFA best team roster. He had one dream ticked off on Wednesday. Here's Rhys Williams on how he approached his Premier League debut against Spurs.
I was just thinking about how I'd stop probably the most informed duo in the world right now. So I spoke to Curtis as well. He told me, just play your game. You're obviously good enough to be there, or the manager won't be putting you on such a stage. So I trusted in my own ability and just tried to go from there, really.
Jordan was full of praise for you when he was talking after the game, and he said specifically that he could hear you talking throughout the game. Is that something that comes natural to you, being vocal?
I mean, I've been encouraged to do it since maybe when we had Stephen as our manager at first year scholar level, and I've just tried to keep developing it year on year. I mean, it's a big part of a centre-back's game being able to talk, because you can see it all, and we need to be the loudest players on the pitch for me, really, apart from the keepers. So, yeah, I mean, just because I'm a younger player doesn't mean I can't talk on the pitch, so I'll just keep trying to do that because it helps everyone else out as well.
Yeah, it's been quite a season for that young man, consistently involved now since that first appearance at Lincoln in the League Cup. Who would have thought from that position he would have played in the Champions League and now in the Premier League? How would you assess how he's adapted to life as a kind of a first-team regular almost? Yeah,
extremely well, because obviously there's huge pressure of Virgil van Dijk being out the squad, and you think, well, OK, there's a place alongside Joe Gomez. Then you lose Gomez and you think, well, there's an opportunity now for someone to really stake a claim and put the name down on the team sheet. Him and Nat Phillips have sort of alternated a little bit, and then you've had Fabinho, who's the other centre-back, so you're looking for someone alongside him. But both players have done extremely well, and I thought Reece the other night was exceptional. Slight mistake in the second half early on with the header backwards, but apart from that, everything else he did was hugely impressive on the front foot. Really good passing. The great thing was, though, is that he knows he's not outstanding on the ball, not like playing beyond himself. Keep it simple, give it to the lads who can play. I'm a centre back and I'll just defend. And I think that's sometimes where you've just got to know your limits.
There is a chance potentially that João Matip could be involved today, potentially if he's gone over that back spasm. If he is available, does he come straight back in, or is the manager half thinking, well, actually, Reece didn't do too bad in midweek?
Yeah, I think when you're a young player, and especially a young player coming into a Liverpool side, I think you've got to manage the expectation level, manage the mental pressures that you're under, and manage the physical pressures you're under as well. So I would think that if Matip is nearly fit, I think he plays, especially in a game away from home. You might be under a little bit of pressure. I know there's no Benteke, but I think Matip, if he's nearly fit or fit, I think he plays.
Whoever plays, they'll almost certainly have to go up against Wilfried Zaha, 7 goals this season. Is he the best player outside the big 6 teams potentially?
Yeah, he'll be in the mix, won't he? He's a hard player to play against. I've played against Wilf many a time, and unpredictable not only to you but to himself. He does things on the ball that other players can't do. He's got great physical strength, speed, but his ability on the ball to move it both feet, step overs, so hard to play against. That for me sounds really daft. I'd rather play against Harry Kane than Wilf Zaha. And that's me, because I think if I get put in a 1v1 situation, he's very hard to play against, whereas Kane, you'll get yourself backed into you, he'll drop off you. He's never going to outrun you as such, but Wilf Zaha's he's a tough player to play against. A very talented individual. Speaking of talented individuals, Curtis Jones caught the eye in midweek. How impressed have you been with not just the fact that he's held his own in the first team, but he seems to be improving week on week, month on month? Well,
we just mentioned Reece Williams, and we're talking about a guy that's the same age as Reece Williams, who is and this is no disrespect to Reece Williams, but is a different level to Reece Williams at this moment in time, at the same age. So I think that just speaks volumes about how good Curtis Jones is. He's a talented young boy. He's got everything. Maybe lacks a little bit of pace, but in a midfield area, I think all you need is a little bit of a change of pace. I think you look at Thiago, he's certainly not quick, but he's got great awareness, great vision, great feet, and he gives us something that little bit different to like the likes of like a Gini Wijnaldum or a Jordan Henderson, where I think in the final third, I think he needs to be able to express himself just a little bit more than what he's doing at this moment in time. But I get back to the fact he's only 19 years of age. Phenomenal what he's doing at this moment in time. Phenomenal.
15 appearances this season already, more than he got in the whole of the last campaign. He's a very talented midfield player. In the opposition ranks, though, Eze has been brought in, and he is a box of tricks, a really talented individual we have to be wary of today. Yeah,
and he's been a player that's freed up Zaha. He's given Will Zaha licence to roam this season and play a more central role, but obviously down that right-hand side we're extremely attacking with Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold, so he has that ability to run in behind as well. He's got ability to outrun you on the ball, so he'll be he's one that you've definitely got to keep your eye out on today. If it is Joel Matip or Reece Williams on that side, they have to be wary of him picking up positions in behind Trent and getting on the ball.
A really dangerous player in the Palace ranks. OK, well, Friday saw another award being handed out, and for the second month in a row it saw Diogo Jota collect the Standard Chartered Player of the Month award, this time for November. The striker may be frustrated with being out of action at the moment, but he's delighted that his efforts before the injury have been recognised.
It just feels like I was doing the things right, obviously helping the team on the field. And that was, of course, the most important, and of course is always a reason to be proud, because to play in this club is already a reason to be proud, but to help the way I was helping the team, it's even better. So I was very pleased with the other one, and of course with this one as well.
This is Diogo Jota, electric pace, and Diogo Jota scores again! Absolutely brilliant from Liverpool. Gomez for Diogo Jota. First touch to pull it down. Second touch to find the back of the net.
Champions League hat-trick is not every day, and is a night to remember for a long time. And of course, if I need to choose one moment of during November, it has to be that one.
And obviously you're out of action at the moment. What have you made of the way the team have played so far this month? That started the month pretty well.
Yeah, well, playing in Premier League is not easy. We've been struggling a little bit away from home. Let's hope we can correct that straight away, because that will make a massive difference in the table. But we are still top of the league, and the last game was very, very good. I was there watching from outside. It's never easy, but I think we played really well, and we were deserving a win that was not happening until the last minute almost. So I think we are doing the things well. We just want to keep on going, because in the end I think we have reasons to celebrate.
And how are you feeling, and how is your rehab going?
Well, like I said, now I'm supporting from the outside. It's not easy. It's even harder when you need to suffer as a fan and can do literally nothing to help the team on the field. But I'm doing my best to be back as soon as possible.
OK, before we wrap up here in the studio, let's head down to the capital and to Peter McDowell, who's reporting from Selhurst Park for Matchday Live today.
Thanks, gents, and a very good morning to you. Welcome to Selhurst Park. It's damp, it's drizzly, cloudy. There's been lots of rain here overnight as well, but perfect conditions for a Christmas warm. But from a fan's perspective, at least, and you will have heard Jurgen Klopp talking about this in the lead-up, they are far from easy from a manager going from an 8 o'clock kick-off on a Wednesday to a 12:30 on a Saturday away from home. But Crystal Palace have had exactly the same thing. They played midweek as well, so no complaints where that is concerned. And he also knows that there's some light at the end of the tunnel from two perspectives. The fact that after today they have an 8-day break between the next game, albeit then there are 4 games in 13 days, but there is some help coming over the hill as well in the form of Thiago. They're hopeful he might be back in team training next week, as well as the likes of Xherdan Shaqiri and James Milner as well. So those reinforcements and that experience will really aid Liverpool in that really hectic spell. And where today is concerned as well, 8 of the team that started against Tottenham actually played the full 90 minutes against Fulham, so that will really have come into his thinking. He's given Joel Matip a little bit of extra rest. He also knows that Naby Keita and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain are chomping at the bit, so you would think that there would be one change inside that midfield today as well. We'll wait and see where that is concerned. And from Crystal Palace's point of view, this is a really tough place to come. We know that, but they don't have Christian Benteke today. He is suspended. He's coming into a little bit of goal-scoring form, and those of us with long memories when he was in a Aston Villa shirt, that he does have a fairly fond memory or two against Liverpool as an opposition player. So probably good news that he is missing today. And Ayew and Sahar likely to be the two up top for Palace. We'll get all of that confirmed for you where Liverpool's team and Palace is concerned at 11:30 this morning.
Thanks, Pete. OK, we're calling time on this preview. Gents, thanks for your thoughts on the game. We return on 11:30 on LSE TV and LSE TV Go for an hour's build-up to Liverpool's trip to take on Crystal Palace. And following that, we'll bring you live audio commentary as well with Steve Hunter and the great Ronnie Whelan as well. I hope to see you then. Goodbye.